Hello young little minds, welcome to All Force e-learning program. I am DNR, your physics lecturer. This is physics session number 7, right? Now in this session we are going to talk about, right, in the previous session we were talking about the position vector. So we will take up the illustrations of the position vector in 3D plane, right? So before going to this, let's have a recall of what we have learned in the earlier classes. So I was telling you, physics is a subject of measurement. We need to measure. So when we measure, we get a quantity. They are termed as physical quantities. The physical aspects around us which can be defined and which can be measured are termed as physical quantities. They are of two types: scalars, vectors. Scalars just have magnitude, no important direction, right? And vectors have both magnitude and direction. They've got both magnitude and direction, significant direction. Not only that, they obey the laws of vector addition also, right? So vectors, there are various types of vectors. We were talking about all different types. Representation of vector. We represent vector in the form of three. There are three methods. One is picture form, graphical method. Second one, mathematical form. Third is polar coordinate method, where just give you an angle. We give the magnitude and the angle there, okay? So representation. Then I've given you how to make out the direction of a vector, right? North of east, east of north, all that, the direction there. Different types of vectors we have dealt: unit vector, zero vector, null vector, parallel, anti-parallel, like so on and so forth, right? Then we were talking about the position vector. The vector which denotes the position of a point in the arbitrary space. Now the vector which represents the position of the point from the origin, now that vector is termed as position vector. So Cartesian, he has convented a 3D system. Now he has imagined a 3D system in the 3D frame. Now you can mathematically define the position vector, right? So for that, let us imagine the Cartesian 3D system. This is the origin. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. So our Cartesian 3D system is something like this. This is our Cartesian 3D system. This is the origin O. This is O, 0, 0, origin O. And this is the point P whose position vector I have to define. I have to define the position vector. Well, what are all the various things he is going to ask you in problems? We'll take out the various illustrations, what he is going to ask you in various entrance examination, okay, regarding this aspect. So let us imagine a point P whose coordinates are A, B, C. A is x coordinate, B is y coordinate, C is z coordinate, right? So to reach this point P, right, so the point, to denote the position of the point P here, then the vector which denotes the position of the point P, now this is called the position vector. OP bar is the position vector. The vector which represents the position of the point, P from the origin, now that is termed as position vector OP bar. So the position vector is OP bar. Let us name it as some A bar. So this is A bar. Then the point is A, B, C. The coordinates are A, B, C. X coordinate is A, Y coordinate B, and Z coordinate is C. Then, so how do you represent the position vector? It is A I cap plus B j cap plus C k cap. I have explained you in the previous class. Now representing the vector mathematically in this Cartesian 3D plane, it is AI plus Bj plus Ck. How do you spell it? It is A units along x-axis plus B units along y-axis plus C units along z-axis. So to reach that point P, you need to travel A along x, B along y, C along z, like this. Then you reach the point P. So it is AI plus Bj plus Ck it is. So therefore OP bar, A bar, AI plus Bj plus Ck. This is the position vector, mathematical representation of a position vector. Okay, right. Then how about the magnitude of the vector, OP bar? Magnitude. You know, I was telling you what is magnitude. Magnitude is a value. The absolute value of the vector is termed as the magnitude of the vector. It is called as modulus of the vector, right? It's a pure scalar, it is always positive. It's pure scalar. It's a scalar, it's always positive. Magnitude cannot be negative. So how do you find the magnitude? I was telling you yesterday in the previous class, we have given you can find the magnitude by two methods. One is by applying the mensuration, the length of the diagonal in this cube. Suppose if this is a cube of length L, breadth B, height H, then this is the body diagonal of the cube. So root of L square plus B square plus H square. Or you can even do it by coordinate geometry. This point is 0, 0, 0. This is A, B, C. Then the length distributed in 2 points. So it's under root of x2 minus x1 whole square. x2 is A, x1 is 0, A square. y2 minus y1 whole square, B square. z2 minus z1 whole square, this is C square. So the magnitude is root of A square plus B square plus C square. The length, I was telling you, the vector is represented by a line segment with the arrowhead. The length of the line segment gives you the magnitude of the vector. So length of this diagonal gives the magnitude. The arrow represents the direction. Well, we'll even find the direction of the vector also, right? So this is the magnitude of the vector. So first the coordinates, the position vector, the magnitude. Then if you take up in this vector, in this position vector, this represents the component of the vector along x-axis. So the component of the vector along x-axis, component along x-axis is A, right? So this one is the x component. Similarly, component along y-axis, this is B, and the component along z-axis is C. So you may ask you to find the components, x component, y component, z component, right? So components along xy, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, the respective components. X component is AI. The coefficient of I unit vector is x component. The coefficient of j vector is y component. The coefficient of k vector is z component. So this is x component, y component and z component, right? And the position vector. So the first one, when he gives a coordinate, it gives a point. First he is going to ask you what is the coefficient vector. Second, what is the magnitude of the vector. Third, either of the components, x or y or z, any of the components. Now, sometimes he may ask you to find out the component in xy plane. Component in xy plane. I was telling you component is shadow. What part of its, what shadow it imparts on the plane. So the shadow of this vector, this position vector, this is our vector OP bar. Now the shadow of this vector on the xy plane. So this is x and this is y. So in the xy plane, if I take the shadow, this is the shadow in the xy plane. This is the shadow in the xy plane. Well, this coordinate is A and this is B. These three form a right angle triangle. Of course, it doesn't seem to be right angle triangle on this plane, on this 2D plane board there, the board there. But actually, these three form a right angle triangle. So this length is A, this length is B. If I take the magnitude, of this diagonal, face diagonal, this is under root of A square plus B square. So component of the vector, fourth point, he is going to ask you, component of the vector in xy plane, component of the vector in xy plane. Now this comes out to be root of A square plus B square. So it is xy plane, this is x and y. So AI plus BJ, these two are perpendicular actually, right? AI plus BJ, this is root of A square. Similarly, component of the vector in YZ plane, this comes out to be B square plus C square. It is Y and Z. YZ plane, actually, if you take the shadow, this comes out to be this shadow. It is this YZ plane. So the shadow of this vector on this plane, YZ, this one it is. So it is B and this is C. This is A units, this is B. If this is B, parallel to it, this is B, it is also C. So B and C, so this is under root of B square plus C square. Similarly, the component of the vector in XZ plane, this is X and Z. In this one, if you take the shadow of this from here to here, you get this one. here to here. So the component in xz plane is under root of a square plus c square. Well, again, component is again a scalar. Component is a scalar, just a mere value, right? So therefore, only x component is a, only y component is b, only z is c. The component only along x-axis, along that axis is a. Component along y-axis is b. Component along z-axis is c. Suppose the component along xy in xy plane, right? Then how do you visualize this actually? Now I'll show you a simple this thing. Let us have a simple illustration here. I'll give you a simple illustration how to imagine these things, right? You better have a keen look regarding this. So please imagine this is the Cartesian three-dimensional plane. If I imagine this as a Cartesian three-dimensional plane, this is positive x-axis, please. This is positive y-axis, positive z-axis. This is the left-handed frame of reference, and the vector is this one. This is our vector. The vector there, is it? So this is the point P whose position I have to define. So let the point P, this is the point P, I have to define P. This point is A comma B comma C. The point P, A comma B comma C. Now what is position vector? According to definition, the vector which represents the position of the point from the origin. So if you put your eye at the origin, the vector which shows the line joining your eye to the point represents the position vector. So therefore the vector which represents the position of the point from the origin, that is position vector. So this is point P, A comma B comma C. What do you mean A? A is x coordinate. In the sense, if I drop a perpendicular normal, if I drop a perpendicular normal like this, right, then I get this A. So this x component is A. Similarly, if I drop a perpendicular onto y-axis like this is y-axis, y, this perpendicular, then this is B. If I drop a perpendicular onto z-axis like this, this perpendicular, this component is C. So x component is A, y component is B, z component is C. A, this is point is A comma B comma C. Now the position vector mathematically is represented as AI plus BJ plus CK. AI plus BJ plus CK, that is the position vector. Well, magnitude, length of this vector, length of the line segment, it is root of A square plus B square plus C square. The magnitude, length, then component, shadow. If I imagine a bulb here, it's shadow here, right? Drop a perpendicular. So the shadow of this vector on the x-axis, A. Shadow of the vector on y-axis, B. Shadow of the vector on z-axis, this is C, like this. Now what is the component in xy plane? In a sense, if I imagine a bulb here, on the xy plane, if I put on, so this perpendicular, if I put it onto this thing like this, then that perpendicular comes out to be the base diagonal. So it comes out to be the base diagonal here like this. Sorry. So this comes out to be the base diagonal this way it is. So when I drop a perpendicular from here, is it? So this is the component in xy plane. So the component in xy plane, this component in xy plane. So when I drop a perpendicular, this is the plane. Now what is this actually? This length is A, this length is B. If I combine this, the diagonal forms a right angle triangle with A and B. So if this is A and my finger is B, then this one is the hypotenuse. It's root of A square plus B square. So therefore the component of this vector in xy plane, component is shadow. So if I put on the shadow of this vector in xy plane, it comes out to be this one. This is the shadow. Now what is that length? Now if I join this way, my finger, this x component and these three form a right angle triangle, A and B. So this is A square plus B square. Similarly, what is its component in YZ plane? What do you mean YZ plane? So if this is Y and this is Z. So if I drop a perpendicular onto this one, then YZ. This is the component. This is the component in YZ plane. This, if I imagine a cube here, then this is the face diagonal. Now what is this face diagonal actually? Again, if you look upon like this, my finger and this chalk piece form a right angle triangle, see. So this is y-axis, B, it is my finger is C. So the chalk piece represents, this one represents the diagonal. So this is B, this is C, so the diagonal, root of B square plus C square. So in YZ plane, it is root of B square plus C square. In xz plane, drop a perpendicular onto this one, it comes out to be like this. Its component here. If I drop a perpendicular onto yz plane, this is the yz plane, this is the yz plane. So if I drop a perpendicular, my finger is the perpendicular and the chalk piece represents the diagonal. So now what is this? This chalk piece. It is again, this is A, this is vertical chalk piece is C, this is A, and this diagonal is root of A square plus C square. So that way you can imagine the base diagonal, the diagonals, face diagonals of the cube there. Right? So therefore, in xy plane, it is A square plus B square. In yz plane, B square plus C square. In zx plane, it is A square plus C square. Right? So this way we write down the things. Later after this, we are asked to find the direction. So we got the coordinates, the position vector, the magnitude root of A square plus B square plus C square, and the components in various directions. Along x-axis is A, y-axis is B, z-axis is C. Along xy plane in the sense, suppose if I imagine xyz like this, then the component in xyz plane will be, xy plane will be like this. So this component, this will be A and this is B. So it is hypotenuse, root of A square, B square. YZ plane, it will be like this. B square, C square. ZX plane, it will be like this. So that way you have to imagine. So it is based on pure imagination, you have to make out. I cannot show the picture on a 2D plane like this, okay. So the components in XY plane, this is the component in XY plane, first one. Component in YZ plane, component in ZX plane. Later, so we got the vector, magnitude, components. Now the most important thing, the direction of the vector. Now how do you make out the direction of the vector? So I was telling you earlier, a vector in the 2D plane I was representing, suppose if this is the vector A bar, then the angle made by the vector with the positive x-axis. This I have taken it as theta, and if this point is A comma B, this is A, this is B, so I wrote tan theta is equal to B by A. It was very easy to find the angle here. But in 3D plane, how do you find the angle? Now, let us do it carefully. Now, the angle made by the vector, angle made by this vector with x-axis. So, this is the positive x-axis. The angle made by the vector with positive x-axis, this angle is termed as alpha. So, that is taken as alpha. Similarly, the angle made by the vector with positive y-axis, this angle, this total angle. Now, this total angle is taken as beta. And the angle made by the vector with z-axis, now this is taken as gamma. So the vector makes respective angles with xyz axis. Angle with x-axis is alpha, angle with y-axis is beta, angle with z-axis is gamma. Then how do you find alpha, beta and gamma? All these things. Now this way, this also. Let us imagine the same thing again. So I will show you. Let's suppose this is our three-dimensional 3D Cartesian system like this, and this is our vector. This is our vector. Our vector xyz, this is the vector. Now, so this is the point P, A comma B comma C. The point P, A comma B comma C, this is P. Right? The length, this is the magnitude of the vector. So the pen represents the magnitude of the vector. So you please remember, the pen has a magnitude. Pen is the position vector. This has a magnitude, position vector, root of A square plus B square plus C square. Well, when I was taking the component, when I have put on a shadow, the shadow of it is here. This is A. So the component along x-axis is A. Now the angle made by this vector with x-axis. So this angle is alpha. This one. This angle is alpha. Right? So this is alpha. Now when I drop a perpendicular from here, so this one. Please see, if you drop a perpendicular, this is in the form of a right angle triangle. The base is the x component A. Pen, I was telling you, this represents the position vector. The magnitude is root of A square plus B square plus C square. Now this forms a right angle triangle. And this angle is alpha. From this right angle triangle, apply trigonometry. What is cos alpha? According to trigonometry, cos alpha is base by hypotenuse. So in this right angle triangle, this is alpha, this is the base x component, its shadow on the x-axis like this. X component is A. You have written the x component is A. So this is A. And pen is the position vector. The length of the position vector is root of A square plus C square. So this is the right angle triangle. This angle is alpha. Come on, cos alpha. adjacent by hypotenuse. So the adjacent is the component along x-axis, that is A, and the hypotenuse is the magnitude of this vector, root of a square plus b square plus c square. So therefore, the next one, fifth, the angle made by the vector with x-axis, cos alpha. So from this right angle triangle, please look here, this angle is alpha, this is alpha, my angle is alpha. And this is the x component. When I was dropping a perpendicular onto x-axis, this is x component. X component is A. This is A. So this is A, and this pen is the actual vector, root of a square plus b square plus c square, its magnitude. Now in this right angle triangle, cos alpha adjacent by hypotenuse. So that is adjacent is A, and the hypotenuse is root of a square plus b square plus c square. So in this right angle triangle, cos alpha adjacent is A, hypotenuse is the vector, root of a square plus b square c square. Cos alpha adjacent by hypotenuse, A by root of a square plus b square plus c square. Now that way you find the angle made by the vector with x-axis, cos alpha actually. Well, again, the angle made by the vector with y-axis. Now this is positive y-axis, this is the vector. Now the angle made by the vector with positive y-axis, this angle, this one, right? This represents the angle. Now when I put on a bulb here, suppose if I take the shadow, now it is like this. Now when you look upon, again you get a right angle triangle. What is this? It is the y component. The y component along y-axis, component along y-axis is b. So the y component is b, and this is the vector root of a square plus b square c square. When I drop a perpendicular, these three form a right angle triangle. And this vector is beta. Again, cos beta adjacent by hypotenuse. What is this adjacent? It is y component. Y component we have found it as it is b, right? Y component is b, and our vector represents root of a square plus b square c square. So these three form a right angle triangle like this. So therefore cos beta is adjacent by hypotenuse. It is b, y component b by the hypotenuse is the pen. So therefore cos beta is equal to b by under root of a square plus b square plus c square. Similarly, the angle made by the vector with z-axis, this positive z-axis. Now this angle, the angle made by the vector with z-axis, this one. Actually it is this way, right? This way it is. So it is gamma. Now again, if I drop a perpendicular from here to z-axis, this one, it forms a right angle triangle. This is the y component, z component. The z component is c. So therefore, z component of the vector is c, and these three form a right angle triangle. And this angle is gamma. What is cos gamma? Adjacent by hypotenuse. So adjacent is the z component c. Hypotenuse is root of a square plus b square plus c square. So therefore, cos gamma of gamma is equal to c by under root of a square plus b square plus c square. So that way you find the angle. You know, these three put together are called as directional cosines. They are actually called the directional cosines. These are the angles made by the vector with the axis, right? They are cos angles. So they are called the directional cosines of the vector. The directional cosines of the vector. So actually this is represented as L, and this is represented as M, this is represented as N, LMN. L, M, N are the directional cosines of the vector, right, whose coordinates are A, B, C, the position vector. So first he is going to ask you what is the position vector. Second, he'll be asking you to find the magnitude, root of a square plus b square plus c square. Then any of the component, either component along x-axis or y or z or xy plane, yz plane, zx plane, anything he will ask you. Now, finally the angle made by the vector with different axes. So the angle made by the vector with x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. Cos alpha, a by root of a square plus b square plus c square. Cos beta, b by root of a square plus b square c square. Cos gamma is like this, where alpha, beta, gamma are the angles made by the vector with x, y and z axis like this. Okay, so this way you can find the directional cosines. They are called the cosine of the angles made by the vector with the three mutually perpendicular axes. Hence you term them as directional cosines. They give the direction of the vector, right? So they are directional vectors. Now, while asking the question, he can give you anything and he may ask you to find any other thing there. Well, suppose if he gives you coordinates, when coordinates are given, with that coordinate you can find the position vector, magnitude, components, and the directional cosines. Or he will give you the position vector itself, find the remaining things. Right? Directional cosines, he will give the remaining things. Or he will give the components, find all the remaining things. Or sometimes he may even give you the directional cosines and ask you to find the vector there. Of course, the magnitude also he will give you, from that you can make out. Is it? So, from this you can even evaluate another conclusion also. Please look here. Now, so cos alpha is equal to a by root of a square plus b square plus c square. So, it is a by, what is root of a square plus b square plus c square? It is the magnitude of the vector, mod a bar. Similarly, this is b by mod a bar. b by, it's the magnitude of the vector. This is c by mod a bar. Now, what you can conclude? A by mod a is cos alpha. So, a I can write as mod a cos alpha. So, therefore, component along x-axis a, I can write this as mod a cos alpha. So, the component a, it is mod a cos alpha. Similarly, a by mod b is cos beta. This is cos beta. So, I can write b as b equal to mod a cos beta. Similarly, c by mod a is cos gamma. So, I can write c as this. So, the components along x-axis, this component, right, component along x-axis, this I can write as mod a, magnitude of the vector cos alpha. Magnitude along y-axis, along y, it's mod a cos beta. And component along z-axis, it is mod a cos gamma. Now, I got the components ABC. Indirectly, I got the coordinates ABC. So, if the length of the vector is mod A, then the coordinates are mod A cos alpha, x coordinate, mod A cos beta is y coordinate, mod A cos gamma is z coordinate. So, the coordinates. Now, the position vector I can write down. Position vector is mod A, that is x, small a, the x component, mod a cos alpha I cap. So, finally, you can represent this as mod a cos alpha I cap plus mod a cos beta j cap plus mod a cos gamma k cap. Question can be in any form, but fundamentally he will give you the coordinates, position vector, magnitude, components like this. But if the question is asked in the indirect form, then also if the directional cosines are given and he is asking to find the vector, in terms of directional cosines also you can find the thing. Well, let's take an illustration. We will take an example and study the thing carefully. Okay. Suppose, let us imagine in the Cartesian 3D plane, in this Cartesian 3D system, 3D frame, right? So, let us take an example like this, right? In the Cartesian 3D plane like this. Let us take an illustration. Let's suppose if in a three-dimensional Cartesian frames, he has given a point P. Let the coordinates of the point P, let's say 3, 4, 5. A point P is represented by the coordinates 3, 4, 5. Now, regarding this point, is asking you to find out first what is the position vector. First question, write the position vector of the point P. Position vector of point P. Second, the magnitude of the vector, magnitude of the vector. Third, he is asking you the components of the vector. Fourth, the directional cosines, well, magnitude, components. And fourth, the directional cosines. Direction of the vector. So, these are all the various things he is going to ask you. Now, let's check how you can solve the problem. So, the point P is given as 3, 4, 5 and the origin is O. Well, we know the coordinates are 0, 0, 0. Our position vector is OP bar. This is the position vector. So, the position vector OP bar of this point. So position vector of point P. So we have just dealt, if the coordinates are a comma b comma c, then the position vector is ai. So this becomes 3i plus 4j plus 5k. Right? It is 3 units along x-axis, 4 units along y-axis and 5 units along z-axis. So it's 3i plus 4j plus 5k. Next, what is the magnitude of the vector? Let us name the vector as a bar. So magnitude, that is mod a bar, that is mod of OP bar. Well, I have written the formula for it is root of a square plus b square plus c square. It's 3 square plus 4 square plus 5 square. The magnitude 3 square, 4 square, 5 square. Well, you can evaluate this. 3 square is 9, 4 square 16, 5 square 25. 9 plus 16 is again 25. 25 plus 25, I will get it as 50 or 25 into 2. So when you evaluate, you will get it as root 25 is 5, root of 2, it is 5 root. Correct? Root of this thing is 5 root 2. So this is the magnitude. Then the components. Well, x component, you know, when I put on the shadow along x-axis, its x component along x direction is 3, along y direction is 4, along z direction is 5. Suppose he is asked you to find the component in xy plane. Component in xy plane. Now, component in xy plane is root of a square plus b square. This is a, this is b, right? Our coordinates a comma b comma c. So it is ai plus bj plus ck. So a is 3, b is 4. So component in xy plane, this is under root of a square plus b square. It's 3 square plus 4 square, that is root 9 plus 16, it's 25. Root 25, it is 5. Right? So therefore, component in yz plane, it is under root of y, b square plus c square. It's 4 square plus 5 square. You will get it as 16 plus 25. Y component is b, that is 4. Z component is 5. So 4 square plus 5 square. You will get it as 16 plus 21. It's under root of 41. Similarly, zx plane, the component in xz plane or zx plane, it is under root of a square plus c square. It's 3 square plus 5 square. You will get it as 9 plus 25. It is under root of 34. So, well, these are the components in x. Along x-axis 3, y-axis 4, z-axis is 5. In xy plane, it is 5. YZ plane, it's root 41. ZX plane, it is root 34. Then, how about the directional cosines? The angle made by the vector with xyz axis. You know, let the angle made by the vector with x-axis be alpha, angle made with y-axis is beta, and angle made with z-axis is gamma. Then how to find the angles? Right? We know we find the direction by directional cosines. We can find it by directional cosines. Cos alpha, you know, cos alpha, we have written the formula for cos alpha is a by the magnitude. So a, x component of the vector by magnitude. Well, x component of the vector is 3 by the magnitude of the vector is 5 root 2. So this is 3 by 5 root 2 it is. Right? Then similarly the angle made by the vector with y-axis. The angle made by the vector with y-axis is beta, cos beta. It is b by. So b is 4 by 5 root 2. And similarly the angle made by the vector with z-axis. With z-axis the angle is gamma, right? So cos gamma, it is c by. So it's 5 by 5 root 2. Well, this is 1 by root 2. It comes out to be 1 by root 2. So luckily it's a known value. Cos gamma is 1 by root 2. So gamma comes out to be 45 degrees. You know, if cos theta is 1 by root 2, for what angle of cos is 1 by root 2, it is 45. So therefore gamma is 40. So this way you can find the directional cosines. So the magnitude, the coordinates, position vector, magnitude, components, and the directional cosines. Instead of giving the problem like this, suppose if the problem is given as, the problem is given in the indirect form, like he says, a vector of magnitude, let's say 5, right? A vector of magnitude phi, suppose it makes angles, it is making angles with XYZ angles as alpha, beta, gamma. He has given the angles. Let's say alpha is something like 30 degrees, beta is given as 60 degrees, and gamma is some 90 degrees. Then find the vector. He is asked you to find the vector. He has given you the magnitude of the vector and the angles made by the vector with XYZ axis. Then he is asking you to find the position vector of that point there. So, well, again XYZ. Now instead, till now we are dealing with such problems where the coordinates of the point were given, coordinates were given, but he didn't give the coordinate now. He has given the magnitude of the vector, the length of this line segment. So let the vector be a bar. So given mod a bar is phi, he has given it as phi. Our position vector is OP bar. OP bar is a bar. So OP bar, the position vector of point P, this is a bar. Now I have to write the position vector of this. If the coordinates are a comma b comma c, then its position vector would have been ai plus bj plus ck. Had the coordinates been a, b, c, then the vector is simply, it's easy to write down. But this time he didn't give you the coordinates, he gave you the magnitude. So he has given mod a is phi, and he gave the angles. The angle made by the vector with x-axis 30 degrees, well, y-axis 60 degrees, and this one is 90 degrees. This way it is. Then how to make out the position vector? You know, I have given you the other form. You know, when I talk about the directional cosines, so you know what directional cosines, we wrote the formula for directional cosine as cos alpha is equal to, if alpha is the angle made with x-axis, cos alpha is the x component of the vector a by under root of a square plus b square plus c square. This was the formula what we have written for the cosine of the angle made with the vector with x-axis. So cos alpha is a by, but you know, root of a square plus b square plus c square is nothing but the magnitude of the vector mod a. So therefore cross multiply a, the x component of the vector, a, I can write it as mod a cos alpha. Similarly, I wrote cos beta, we wrote the formula as b by under root of a square plus b square plus c square. Again root of a square plus b square plus c square I can write as mod a. So cross multiplying here, I get the y component of the vector b, it's mod a cos beta. And similarly the z component you can find the same way, it is mod a cos gamma, because cos gamma is c by root of a square plus b square plus c square. So cross multiplying, see, I get it as mod a cos gamma. So what is our position vector? If a comma b comma c are the points, then it is ai plus bj plus ck, where a is x component, b is y component, c is z component. So substituting, I get, so the position vector of point P, right, that is OP bar or A bar is written as mod A. So that is small a, x component, it is mod A cos alpha. So it is mod A cos alpha I cap. Similarly, the y component, y component, it is mod A cos beta j cap, and plus the c component, the z component c, it's mod A cos gamma k cap. So this is x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate. So coming to our vector, our problem now, he gave you a vector has magnitude phi and the angles, respective angles are given, then find the position vector. The magnitude is given and the angles are given. Then how do you find the position vector? Therefore the position vector I can find it as, the position vector of this vector OP bar or A bar is, come on, mod A cos alpha, mod A, it is phi cos 30 degrees I cap, plus then mod B cos beta, it is phi cos 60 degrees j cap, and similarly phi cos gamma cos 90 degrees k cap. Isn't it? So therefore, the position vector OP bar, that is A bar, is phi of cos 30, you know it is root 3 by 2 I cap, plus phi of cos 60, we know it is 5 by 2, so it is 1 by 2, cos 60 1 by 2 j cap, plus phi of cos 90 is 0, it's k cap. Well, this term has become 0. So now our vector OP bar, that is A bar, is phi root 3 by 2 I cap plus 5 by 2 j cap, or vector A bar is phi root 3 I plus, even 5 by 2 also you can take common, 5 by 2 common, it is root 3 I plus j. So this way you can find the vector when the magnitude and the angles are given. A vector of magnitude phi and angles 30, 60 and 90, then determine the position vector. So you can find out the position vector in the other way. Actually, it's very simple when the coordinates are known, and finding the magnitude and cosine angles, finding the magnitude cosine angles is easy from the coordinates or from the position vector. But now he has given the other way. He gave you the magnitude and cosine angles. He is asking you to find the vector or the components or the coordinates. Now then the method is like this, right? So this way you find. So the formula, whenever magnitude is given, you please remember the magnitude, the position vector of point P, OP bar or A bar, if its magnitude is given as mod A, then it is mod A cos alpha I cap, mod A cos beta j cap, mod A cos gamma k cap. So this way we will find out the things there. Okay, right? So this is the method of finding the position vector of any point in the Cartesian 3D plane, whether it is 2D plane or 3D plane, whatever it is, you can find the position vector in this form. Well, now let's go to the next topic. Our next topic is multiplication of scalar. Multiplication of scalar to a vector. Multiplication of a scalar, or multiplication of, first we will take up the real number to a vector. Now what happens to the vector when a vector is multiplied to a real number, right? You know, actually when you take up scalars, with scalar, addition of a scalar with scalar is possible, subtraction is possible, multiplication of two scalars is possible, division of two scalars is also possible. But coming to vectors, when you come to vectors, well, scalars and vectors, you can never add a scalar to a vector. This is not a valid operation. You can neither subtract a scalar to a vector, you cannot even do so. But you can multiply a scalar to a vector. And you can divide a scalar you can divide vector by a scalar, not scalar by a vector. Vector by a scalar. So this way, these are valid operations. But addition of a scalar to a vector, you cannot. This has no direction, that has direction. How can you add? It is not possible. They are different entities, it's not possible. But you can multiply a scalar to a vector and divide a scalar, divide by scalar. You can divide the vector by a scalar. Well, again, division of scalar by vector is not possible. You can never divide a vector by vector. It is impossible because vector direction, you cannot define the division of any value by direction. It is undefined. It is impossible. That is the reason why we have actually come to a separate mathematics for vectors, because it doesn't follow rules of the simple algebraic rules there. Well, division is not possible. You cannot divide vector by vector. You can neither divide a scalar by vector also. So for such variation, you need to adopt another. You have to adopt another mathematics. So that way we have come to vector algebra. Okay, now coming to the concept, what happens when a real number is multiplied to a vector? Let's say, suppose there is a vector A bar. Let's suppose its magnitude is already 5 units, some 5 units like this. Now I am multiplying a real number, some real number k to it, or number n to this. So when a vector a bar is multiplied with a real number n, then I get another vector some a dash bar. So this will yield another vector a dash bar. Whenever a vector is multiplied with a real number, then it yields another vector a dash bar, such that its magnitude, so magnitude of a dash bar is n times the magnitude of a. So the magnitude becomes n times, but the direction remains same, because the unit vector of this one and unit vector of this one remains the same. Unit vector is same there, because if I take the unit vector of this one, so unit vector n a bar by mod of this mod n a, n into mod a. So my unit vector of this one, a dash bar by mod a dash bar, right, unit vector. So n gets cancelled, and here unit vector of this and unit vector of this both are same. So a bar by mod a, it is the unit vector of a dash bar by mod a, it is unit vector of a dash bar. So their unit vectors are same. Unit vector same, unit vector actually depicts the direction of the vector. I was telling you, unit vector is used to specify the direction. It is meant for direction. So their unit vectors are same, in the sense the direction is same. Magnitude has changed. So if a vector is multiplied by n, then n a bar yields another vector a dash bar, such that the magnitude is changed n times, but the direction remains same. Suppose if n is greater than 1, n greater than 1 in the sense a dash will be bigger than, it's a bit longer than a bar. Well, n is less than 1. If n is greater than 1, then magnitude of a dash greater than magnitude of a. N less than 1, then magnitude of a dash bar will be less than mod a. If n less than 1 decimal, then half or 0.5, 0.65 or something like that, then it is lesser than. But the direction will remain same. Direction remains same. Now coming to, if n is positive, if n is positive, what do you mean n positive? N greater than 0. If n is greater than 0, then the direction of a and direction of a bar and a dash bar both will be in same direction. If n is positive, both will be in same direction. That is, you are multiplying this by a positive number, then the direction remains same. But if n is negative, n less than 0, then this is a negative number, then the direction of a dash bar, this becomes opposite to a bar. So the direction of this is minus of the direction of a bar. It is reversed, minus, reverse. Suppose there is a vector a bar. If I reverse it, then it is minus a bar. It becomes minus, opposite. So if I am multiplying this vector a by a number, I am multiplying with a number n which is negative. Let us say minus 2 a bar. So a dash bar is minus 2 a bar. It is 2 times minus a bar is a dash bar. So it is 2 times minus a. A is in this direction, minus a is this, 2 times. This will be the vector. So the direction is reversed. So whenever you multiply a real number to a scalar, multiplication of a real number to a scalar yields a vector. Right? Multiplication of a real number to a vector yields another vector which only changes the magnitude, direction remains same if that real number is positive. But if the real number is negative, direction is reversed. Right? So this way, so this is the thing regarding the vector there. So in this session we have learned how to evaluate the problems regarding position vector. Whenever the position vector is given, if you give the coordinates, how to find the magnitude, or if magnitude and direction is given, how to find the coordinates and position vector. So that way you can yield the things. Later in the next session, we will continue with the multiplication of a scalar with a vector, real number with a vector, all possible cases regarding this. Okay, thank you. Right.